30 billion naira to a vulnerable household across the country.
That's funny, right? That's funny. So sometimes I am of the opinion that you don't give. I mean, it is okay to give someone money. For example, if I want to make you happy, I can give you some amount of money,
Did
right?
you give me money now?
Well, I would think about it.
Okay.
You want me to affirm that I'm going to give you money so that they will come for me after, right? Giving money is like great, but sometimes the reason why, rather than that I frown at, just giving people money is that giving money is not what somebody that is maybe deep in poverty. Not just money is not the only issue. What is the system? Because the money you're giving this person is going to end. And how much do they intend to give an household? What if you get to an household that they have about 7 members in the household?
And can they even give every household in Nigeria? And can they even,
in this same Nigeria that we know that if the federal government says that we've disbursed some money, before it gets to maybe the local government level, the money has already turned into something else. And then by the time it's getting to these households, maybe it's going to be getting to them maybe with one bag of, there's a way they repackage the rice, maybe like some amount of dairy cars, and then they put it together and then they seal it. And then you're giving it out to households. And then even that one, there are still people that are still going to carry all those things to their own house. So it's just a whole lot of things. As much as, we can say that, oh, it is a laudable one, you're trying to release some amount of money. However, 330 billion naira is a whole lot of money. And what I really wanted to check in that news is if they told us, how much they want to be allocating to households. I want to try to see if they mention.
Okay, they confirmed that 8.5 million households out of a targeted 15 million had so far received at least one tranche of the 20.
So you mean that people have received this money?
25,000 naira monthly payment.
Can you see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I take my words back. It is not a laudable one. Because what would 25,000 naira do?
Apart even from that, when we talk about giving money, it's giving money to the vulnerable ones in the country, the solution to reduce the abject poverty in the country.
That's what I'm saying. That money is not the solution. Because
it's just a temporary thing.
In fact, these people, this 25,000 naira is what they will use to buy, some of the illnesses that they will use to buy, drugs or something for. Illnesses that have been developed because of the state of their living. How many drugs do you even want to buy with drugs?
Pay one bedroom rent.
So they should stop bringing this type of news to my so I don't get angry very early.
So let's see what the Punch has.
Okay, so let's see what the Punch has for us this morning. So the screaming headline that I'm going to be talking about: emergency rule, winners, losers as Tinubu reinstate Fubara. Right after this story, President justifies action as over 40 court cases pending, cautions governors on good governance. Wike, Rivers will henceforth witness peace, progress. 6 months wasted, Rivers elders laments. And then another story here, SSCE, NECO probes mass cheating in 13 states. Good. Federal government, states, local governments shared 2.2 trillion naira August revenue. This is coming from FAC. This is a story you'll find in page 20 of the Punch. And in respect to cash transfer, that almost got me hungry. Federal government to pay federal government pays 330 billion naira to 8.1 million households. The question is that the next thing that we need as Nigerians? 25,000 per household. That's so funny. And then another one here says UK-Nigerian bilateral trade hit 16 trillion naira. This is coming from the British envoy. Another interesting story is federal government returns history to basic school curriculum. What that news is saying is that federal government will now begin to include history from primary 1 to SS3. For SS1 to SS3, they have things like civic education. Not everybody take governments, but they would now they are now going to infuse history into civic education. So from SS1 to SS3, which I think is great, because this generation are not even interested in what is going on in Nigeria. So there has to be a way for them to actually be, you know, I was trying to remember, there is this particular book back then in school that all of us, I mean, you would also remember, you might not remember, we call it current affairs.
Okay.
Yes, current affairs that we used to get. You don't get it inside school. I think you have to buy it.
Yeah.
Yes, in all those bookstore and all of that. So I think it's a great one.
Even adding to that story, that was yesterday. I saw that the federal government have approved Chinese language in the new school curriculum. So I'm not wondering. It's a good one.
It's a good one, but
learning
then
Chinese language, but we've not finished learning our own native dialects. It's now another foreign language we want to put into play, meaning that they're just like, we really don't prioritize our language a lot. That's just it. People there, they are selling their language to other countries, but we ourselves, we are shooting ourselves.
I don't think federal government needed to come out to say that we should make Chinese language compulsory. I mean, languages. Maybe they would have rather said that languages should be compulsory. So you can decide to take, aside Yoruba language, you can decide to now take an extra language. Aside, you know, your indigenous language, you can decide to take any other language that you want.
Don't be surprised when I come next to come and speak in Chinese language.
You were done with school.
I can actually
Anyways, let me quickly talk on Fubara's story. So Governor Fubara gets back his job and powers, and if you remember clearly, you know, he has been on this for the past 6 months. So they've brought in, you know, the governor, his assistants, and then Amewele, and then President Tinubu has, you know, praised him for actually stepping in. However, you know, people are coming out because if you remember that they suspended him when they declared in March 18, 2025, they declared a state of emergency in Rivers State, and his administrator, his officials, they had to be suspended, and then some people actually had to take over for a while. So our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has lifted the emergency rule and reinstated Fubara and the states, saying that the crisis had eased. So I really, you know, I'm glad about this. However, there are lots of people, you know, I'm saying the news, and then they are pointing at some people as the losers because there is a particular you know, figure that is actually opposing the fact that Fubara should not come in and all of that. But I'm really glad, you know, that Fubara is back. Okay, and this is where we are going to be drawing the curtains for the newspaper headlines. We are going to be going on a very short break, and when we return, we'll be diving straight into our hot topic for this morning. This is something that you don't want to miss. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. What are your thoughts on these historical milestones? I would love to hear your insights and perspectives because you are the main ingredient in this conversation, and we would love to hear your thought on these milestones. And our phone lines are open. Please call us 0702 500 7749 or 0701 420. And if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, click the subscribe button now. Like and share the link. Tune into channel 145 on your GoTV and do not miss any part of this. Okay, and right now we are going to be getting into our hot topic for this morning, dearest viewers. So our topic for this morning as regards to the Mandilas fire. Yet another case of lessons never learned. So on Lagos Island this week, fire struck twice in a single day. A chilling reminder of how fragile safety is in our crowded commercial hubs. Earlier in the day, 9 people were rescued from the Afriland Tower fire. A blaze that set panic through Broad Street before emergency services contained it. But while relief was still settling in, nightfall brought another inferno, this time at the iconic Mandilas markets, one of the Lagos' busiest trading centers. For traders, it was devastation. Goods worth millions reduced to ashes overnight. Families left stranded, and businesses that took years to build wiped out in hours. Yet, beyond the smoke, the real question lingers. Why do these fires keep happening? Crumbling infrastructure, illegal electrical connections, locked exits, and more enforcement of safety codes continue to fuel this cycle. Government officials often promise investigations, compensation, or stricter regulations after every blaze, but history shows little changes. And so, people are left to themselves. And this is where we bring it to our table, so we can actually look into what is going on beyond the fire, beyond the loss of lives, beyond the loss of properties. First, my heart goes out to everyone who had to lose something, the families, even the victims themselves. Some people did not lose their life. However, their properties worth millions of naira, gone like that. And my heart sincerely goes out to these people and to the families of people, that have died. May you be comforted, right? Mm-hmm. But it brings us to actually think about some certain things. When something is happening twice. I was telling myself this morning, I forgot my cover yesterday, and then I forgot it this morning again because of the rain. So yesterday when I forgot it, I was telling myself that, Triumph, I was telling myself that you don't need to pick a cover. You shouldn't pick a cover just because it is raining, but you should also get a cover because it is about to rain. That was what I told myself. Then this morning again, I forgot it. By the time I was talking to myself this morning, I was not saying that it was a mistake. Rather, I was calling myself to order that why do you keep forgetting these things? Which is the same reaction to 2 fire outbreak in the same state, not far from each other in one day. As much as we would love to call it, fate, some people will say it was destined to happen, but it begs us to question the state of our nation. It begs us to question some of the things that are just left undone. Because I really don't know how we are in this kind of situation. Before I even start to, talk about all my thoughts, all the things that have been going on in my mind, but let's even hear from you first.
Concerning the
situation.
Well, I think part of it's I will fault those people who have shops there and everything, and even including the government. They won't be exempted from this because both of them have a part to play when it comes to safety. We have such a big plaza in that in the area in Lagos State, and there are some things that are expected to be in order, right? If you have big businesses there, what happened to creating a fire station close by that is functioning? Not a fire station that is not functioning, because I've seen some fire stations, they will call them to come and take out a particular fire and they will come without water. So what's the whole essence of coming? There's no essence of coming. So why don't we get a functional fire station close by to such areas? And I mean, we have big companies, organizations there. What are they doing concerning the safety of their people? Are they just there to just make money at the expense of their employees? It's quite disheartening. And also for the government too. They also have their negligence. Such places, you need to be carrying out either monthly checkup or bi-weekly checkup to see if things are in order. Are there muster points, assembly points? Are there fire exits? No fire exits. Nothing, nothing. So what's the whole essence of it? So that's why I'm saying that both the employers of labor, and the government are to be faulted in this.
That's very serious. You know, I was looking at talking about the fact that, you know, you were mentioning that, okay, what did they do about, you know, the people that are supposed to actually be on ground and some system that should be put in place. So I was actually checking through the average minute it takes when fire breaks out, you know, to get maybe fire service to be there. So I was saying that, you know, in Nigeria, it might take, you know, about 20 minutes. In fact, we know that it takes more than that. In fact, you might not even... with the road,
and
with
you can't
traffic...
even predict
you can't even predict. You might not even see them. They might not be working. It might not be available. If you are in such a community, you might not even have one in your community. Now, I was looking into United States of America to see the minutes that it takes. Depending, the least minutes that you're going to have is 4 minutes. 4 minutes, depending on where you are. And if fire services are coming to your location, the immediate responders, they get there. Then maybe after double the minutes, then every other
points will
come and join whatever situation that it is. But by the time we were watching the video, the video of that
UBA. How they were, where some people turned to be Superman and Batman. It was even
that was even doing everything. There was a particular video that I was watching. Unfortunately, do you know that this fire was even in the night? That's for the Mandilas. It was even in the night. I mean, some people have left their houses, left everything. I saw a woman, she was crying in a very, very terrible state. So it causes the question. Because now if we look into the fire incidents for the UBA, because they've not been able to, you know, officially confirm the cause of the Mandilas fire, right? But people are saying that maybe it was electrical faults or generator or something that would most likely be the reason. But at least they were able to confirm the UBA Afriland, you know, tower situation. And they mentioned that the reason why it was like that was because it began, you know, in the inverter room. It started in the inverter room. According to what they said, you know, it spread to a parked vehicle in the basement, and then the whole thing started spreading. Now, sometimes we cannot, we cannot be overprotective, because you might not even know. It's just like you having a child. You don't know the next thing they will do. By the time you turn once and then you turn back, they've done something. But do we really think that it is something that could have been prevented, right? In as much that there are some things that you might not really be able to prevent. But I am of the opinion that there is a long way that things can go to be protected, but to be prevented. But I don't know if it's like that for you.
First thing, in Nigeria, it has been known, right? Not just even in Lagos, that when we get to Ember month, I'm even so surprised that we are even having rainfall during this one. But at this period, we most likely used to be in dry season where there is hot sun and everything. So we can easily have fire breakout. So I was expecting, you talked about the inverter having a spark. How many times have they gone to do a round check on those equipment? I mean, it's a lot of story buildings, right? So how many times have they gone to do a check around on anything that has to do with electrical appliances? How many times have they gone to check it? And I know about Nigerians. When something is already beginning to have fault, they'll keep on managing. If you manage them, they will tack it. They won't even call people that are experienced to come and look at it. Somebody that probably, when they were repairing something or stuff, just had this kind of brief knowledge, you call the person. Why? Because you don't want to pay a very high amount to get quality service. Then you go and call someone to pay a smaller amount of money, and you get a very bad work. So that's what I'm still saying, that distance, yes, we might not be able to prevent fire 100%, but we can put some things in order to at least prevent such things. For instance, like, let me use a bank as an instance. You see that, I don't know if it applies to all banks, right? But there's a few banks I've been to. You see a fire extinguisher around. You see a fire exit where you can easily take.
But it's usually locked. I was even going to say it. You know that those emergency exits, they're usually locked.
That's what.
And I used to think that when problem happen, you know, you're going to consider what you're saying. But when challenges happen, what if the person that is supposed to open the emergency exit
is trapped somewhere else?
What if the person is trapped somewhere else?
That's just it. I don't know. We need a fire exit. It's supposed to be like a muster point where everybody will come together as an assembly point to take head counts and everything. And it's supposed to be even a fire extinguisher. So that at least before the fire service will get to the point, to your point, or to where the incident is happening, we can make use of what you have in ground. And that's why I'm still saying that these people, they are making money there. They are making tons of money there. They can't tell me they are not making money. Bank is there. How many business stuffs are there? So why is it that it's so hard for Nigerians, right, to spend money for their safety? That's really a big question, because I've noticed that we just want to be making money, but we're not looking at the safety aspect of it. As you're making money, you also spend money to also what? To protect yourself and even your goods. Because, okay, imagine now, sorry to say, people that have lost their goods, if that money, part of the money, they've used it to also put things in order, do meeting. You're not the only one that have a business in that plaza. There should be like, probably like a monthly meeting. Okay, what's the way forward? How can we make progress in such a place? You have expensive goods there. You have lives there, which are even more valuable than even goods you have there. What are the things you need to put in store? Aside even that, if you look at our emergency approach or the strength of it, it's very poor. Okay, people that were casualties of the fire incident.
I mean, somebody must have seen the fire when it started.
That's just
it. Was not a lot or something like that.
What was the immediate approach to it?
But however, you know, sometimes people don't think, or as Nigerians, sometimes we don't think that something is going to happen. For some people, maybe they've been in that shop for years, so they might not have even thought about the fact that, okay, one day will come where there is a fire incident that is going to happen.
Fire
or something.
incidents will not come to knock on their door.
So, you know, you mentioned the fact that maybe they were supposed to have done their meeting, you know, carried out their research and all of that. But I still think that if this situation was going to replay in another plaza, it would almost be the same thing. How many plazas have you been to that you saw any fire?
That's why I'm saying that. It's because of our negligence. Imagine you own a car in Nigeria, right? It is expected of you to have a fire extinguisher, at least 2 in it. So if you're having such a building, it should be expected that anything can happen. So you should have something that can actually, let me use the word, permit me to use the word, temper the situation.
At least before
we have people coming to, you know, attend to it. But if you don't have all those things in place, okay, imagine people were even jumping from how many stories away, jumping, turning to, if they have had something like that, since it started from the inverter unit, right? If they had several extinguishers in it, it could have even calmed down the fire. But no. And you know some Nigerians, the ones they see something, it's getting, they will not talk. They will go, it's not close to my shop now. Yes, negligence, because we are not also one another's brother's keeper. Once it is not affecting us, it's not of our business. We lock up. At times, we even carry our phones, be doing video, be laughing. There are situations that need urgent actions towards, and we should cultivate the habit. If you see something, it's not affecting you, but you can never tell. Even the next minute is going to come down to your own place. That's just it. So if you are keeping yourself idle, I was reading some of the stories. I saw that, okay, some people were trying to get their stuff out of the shop. How many things they want to get out? How many? How many can you get out of your shop within that space of time? How many? Probably people that will even be lucky enough are people that their shops or offices are down on the ground floor. Those might be people that might be lucky. But from the upper story building, how do you even want to get down your equipment?
That's a very serious thing. But we are going to go on a very short break. But when I return, I'll first start by, talking about the fact that I actually have experienced the fire incident, and it was this year, and I experienced it for the first time in my life in this same Lagos. So we're going to start talking about that when we return, and also the reaction of the chairman of UBA, Tony Elumelu, to this particular event incident. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back in just a minute.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Welcome back. Let us know your thought. Send us a message and we will be here to get your thought, your comment on this conversation. Now we're talking about the Mandilas fire and also the Afriland Towers incident. Yet another case of lessons never learned. So we're just trying to look at some of the lessons that we might just look away from in the process of trying to grieve. Now, there's something that my mother used to say that she says it in Yoruba. She would say something like, what it literally means is that in the quest for survival, may I never meet something that would actually take my life, me trying to look for a means of livelihood. And that is something that I have been thinking about from the moment I saw this fire incident, right? I mean, these people are out to survive, to make more money, to put food on the table, to make things happen for their family. But unfortunately, they are met with their lives, and for some, they are met with, loss of their properties. And it brings me to, wonder if maybe we should even just sit down at home. But unfortunately, this incident, wherever you are, even if you're at home, sometimes I feel like when you're at home, you're even at more risk, like different things are happening and all of that. I witnessed a fire incident, accident this year. That was maybe a few months ago. I mean, I still have some of the videos on my phone of my sister, a panic reaction. It was really funny. You would think the fire was already... I also thought, but I was even more composed than she was. I also thought that, the fire had already gotten to where we are. But it was still happening very far. And it started in a fuel station. And what just happened? It was just the truck that, fuels this thing that actually exploded. Unfortunately, the whole gas station... Now, this is where I say that sometimes, for example, this Mandilas fire now, aside the fact that, you know, maybe wherever the fire started from, this thing spread to the houses beside
Very close.
and behind. So you might just be sleeping in your house and the next thing, you're gone. You're gone. So we have tried to look at, you know, some of the causes, some of the people that are involved, which I also agree with you that sometimes we can't just leave the government to, you know, be the one coming out, especially with the state of our nation. We might not be able to actually get the government, but we should be able to do due diligence on our parts. I was watching Uwa's video yesterday as regards to the situation, and she was saying something like, the moment we all neglect, it is not just the government. How about the people that builded the whole structure? How about the people that put the law that, okay, you can actually turn on your gen in this particular location, that you know that you're not supposed to be turning on your generator in this particular location? Every parties involved are going to be held responsible and accountable for this kind of situation.
Even that reminds me, I even want to draw your attention to this, right? In Lagos, there's supposed to be like a law that says that when you want to build, at least leave some meters far apart. But Lagos, no. We like choking a lot. We do choke.
Leave it. If they can build on a house and build on another house.
You'll be so amused that when you see a particular house, you can't even see, like they're just literally sharing one fence, and one fence probably like my foot, you get. Normally, you know, when a fire incident starts, assuming there was like spaces beside, it also gives room for air to take it out. But because everywhere is congested, Lagos is congested, you see house here, house here, house here. Why?
Which brings us to the approach of, you know, the federal government to actually housing.
Why?
Now let's even go into the real estate sector and all of that. Because by the time we even start going deep into those people, you know, the people that are trying to build houses, of course, everything is for the gain of people, and also the fact that, you know, Lagos State will be able to accommodate the number of people because there are so many people. And it's because the government
are not doing their work. After all, we have FIRS office among this situation there. What were they doing? What did they put in place for it? I even read further concerning the story of the Mandilas that probably even that's on Guardian newspaper. Like, it didn't really start from the plaza itself. It started from a building that was directly behind it. So what happened when it started, right? And if there was this land, like proper use of land, because I know Lagos States were very fond of it. You see a place now, Lagos State will say that, oh, they want to own it. Why are you not taking due diligence to curb these things? If you're building your house, leave spaces around. If everywhere is congested, there is no air. And you know, a place where there is no air, there is heat, tight. Of course, it will give more food to the fire, to consume things, and that's why it spread. And that's why I was still saying that those people too, what did they put in place? You are earning money. They can't tell them that they are not earning. Millions or billions are not rolling out of that plaza. You should put something to guard your property. You made mention of a statement in Yoruba. If that is the situation, what are they using? If probably this is your means of getting something, that's where you get your thing. Won't you protect it? You will protect it. But if you leave it unprotected, something else will come and help you to protect it.
Now, let's even look away from, you know, we've already talked about the people that should be held accountable and stated the fact that, you know, everybody should actually be held accountable for this kind of loss.
There was even the statement that the Babaloja said of the Mandilas Plaza. He said he's waiting for the intervention of the federal government and the governor for what to come and do what? No, I don't understand. To come and do what? You are the Babaloja. I'm sorry to say. You should ensure that things are placed in order in that plaza. What did you do to it?
And what did you do when it started?
Nigerians are very fond of Babaloja. My own is to be collecting money.
And I mean, but Babaloja collects more money than what the federal government collects.
You're not even thinking of what are the things you should put in place in that plaza. You're not calling out that you're waiting for the intervention of the federal government to come and do it, to come and appease you. And even the statement you utter, we didn't lose life, but we lose goods. Of course, you will lose something. And my heart really goes out to those people that lost a lot of, billions of worth of goods there. But see, they should hold those people accountable. The Babaloja is also at fault. So you should not even call out the federal government.
Okay, away from that, we've talked about, the people that should be held accountable. But really, let's talk about, post-accidents now. Because I was thinking, what should be the compensation for these lives and properties? We'll talk about, let's try to look into the lives first and then the properties. What should be the compensation of lives? Let's not forget that the Afriland Towers, lives have been lost. The Mandilas fire properties, even the Afriland Towers properties, right? Now, what should be the compensation? I was trying to look at maybe the Mandilas, you know, all these people. Most likely the Afriland Towers, there will be something like insurance and all of that. But with that plaza, is there an insurance policy? Or beyond insurance? I think the insurance is just the best way to maybe compensate or maybe get it.
How many things do they want to insure?
Are they even properly insured, you know, these people that have been involved? So what is the post, sorry, beyond just using words to say sorry, how best should these people be compensated? Because, for example, for UBA incident, now I saw Tony Elumelu, what he wrote, and then very heartfelt.
You even had to cancel his trip to the one of the meetings to the United Nations.
And I think that's a good way for any
that,
chairman to actually react to situations, rather than in some other situations where we will not even hear from whoever it is. So what is the compensation on these lives?
In Nigeria's compensation to this life is sorry. Sorry. And we'll not see that again. That's basically Nigerians' compensation. And after that, what we do, they probably donate money that won't even be up to the amount of what you've lost. So that's why it's always good. You know, in this country, you don't rely entirely on the government because, sorry to say, even our governments are not really that responsible for every citizen's lives. Even look at the healthcare system. We don't even want to talk about that. It's totally a disaster. So if you are living in this country, you should ensure that you prioritize your safety and even your neighbor as well, because whatever happens to your neighbor might likely also affect you.
Because some of these things, I feel like there are some things that it is better, you know, there's this word that we used to say, you know, from a child, this adage, as a child, the first, well, you know, one of the first words that you know to say is something like prevention is better than cure. Which is true, because if we are even talking about compensation now, well, if we are talking about compensation and talking about firefighting and all of that, how about what should have happened before to actually prevent this kind of situation from going on? And what about the policy that will be put in place? Because now it has happened. Unfortunately, the owner of UBA will not even be there at that point that is happening.
Why will it be there?
Or was not even there.
It can't be there.
Will most likely not be there. But you trying to maybe work, maybe they are paying you 300,000 or 350,000 or whatever amount it is that they are paid, and then you just, that's
why I will make this statement that in the process of one hustling to make ends meet, also prioritize your safety. A place where you are working and you see that your safety is not their first interest, my dear, you need to check twice.
How many places do you see? Because I feel like there has to be a reorientation to safety.
Of course.
In itself, because come to think about it, I mean, you were mentioning that they did not, maybe they did not think about it. But me, I am trying to look at the place.
It's
for
not
example,
today that fire incidents have been happening in Lagos.
I mean, I just explained one like 2 months or 3 months ago.
It is not today fire incidents have been happening. And even with this situation now, I'm even expecting, what would they put in place afterwards? Now, this casualty has happened. What would they do to avoid such next time? I'm very certain that they won't even bother about that. Their own is to repair any damages and everything, then continue with their businesses. What are they going to put in place afterwards to prevent such things? Imagine, we lost about 7 lives. 7 lives. It can't even be compared to the amount of goods that were lost during that incident. And there was even a situation that even happened. Okay, one of these journalists was trying to capture this thing, and there was an assault that happened. That's what we are still saying. We need to be one. We need to be our brother's keeper. Everybody is doing their business. Everybody is doing their duty. But what is your own duty to put what you have, your source of livelihood? How are you trying to protect it? And even I'm calling out employers of labor. What are you doing to ensure the safety of your employees. Please don't just create saying that, yes, you're employers of labor, you've created jobs. Yes, you've created jobs. What have you put in place to keep their safety? It's also very important. Their lives are important. They're not animals or chickens that can die easily. What can be compensated? Even those people that lost their lives, what can you use to compensate their families? Is it money? Can money buy life? Money can't buy life. That's just it. Money can't, and it can't bring back the dead. So what are you putting in place to ensure the safety, the healthy living of your employees? It's very also important.
That's very serious. I mean, as we just, draw the curtain, I'll just, conclude by saying that actually 2 fires in one day on, the Lagos Island cannot be dismissed as coincidence. It is a symptom of a deeper, dangerous neglect. From Afriland Towers to Mandilas markets, lives were nearly lost, livelihoods destroyed, and yet this is a tragedy we have seen so many times before. Fire codes ignored, infrastructure left to rot, safety protocols treated as optional. However, the truth is, fire doesn't wait for bureaucracy. It consumes everything in its path. And until Lagos decides that prevention is cheaper than loss, we will keep rebuilding ashes instead of protecting futures. So we will go on and on and on and on like this. Do ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow us on all our social media engagements. And remember to like, share, comment, and invite your friends and family to watch us and follow us. Have a wonderful day ahead. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.